Hey YouTube, Wes here checking in again with another episode of The Vinyl Survivor. Hope you're all doing well, having a great day, a great night, whenever it is you're watching this. Once again, we're going to kind of do a sort of a quick take episode. Got just a huge backlog of things to talk about, and it's been so long since I've listened to a lot of these that I don't really have a whole lot to say about them. Just going to kind of give you my basic thoughts on them and whether they're going to be staying in the collection or going away. So the first one I have to talk about here is one that I don't know a lot about and I don't remember much about, but I do remember liking it, and that is the self-titled album, I believe, from the group Red Eye, sometime in the 1970s. I think this is kind of like a bluesy country rock kind of thing. Just remember enjoying it quite a bit. That's going to be a keeper for me on the Pentagram label. So a really cool label. One I hadn't seen before. So I'm gonna have to revisit this sometime, because as I said, I've sort of forgotten most of what I heard, but I just know it was something I enjoyed listening to, and something I wanted to keep around. So that's a self-titled album by Red Eye. Next up, soundtrack to this James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me. This one has Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon. Definitely one of the more well-known title tracks for the Bond movies. Collect the Bond soundtracks, so this one is definitely staying in my collection. And yeah, this is a classic, pretty easy one to find on the United Artists label. All right, next up we have the album from The Call titled Modern Romans from 1983. I really dug this. I don't know what you would call this. I guess they fall into the new wave category. Very political. I like this quite a bit. It's sort of making a statement about modern society, modern culture, how you worship people and things and stuff like that. It has a very punk sensibility to it. It's just great music. I really enjoyed this one. So definitely highly recommend The Call, Modern Romans, if you get a chance to check that one out. And that is on the Mercury label. All right, next up we have the album from The National from 2013 titled Trouble Will Find Me. Of course, The National, modern indie rock group, really recognizable lead singer. Definitely a group I enjoy listening to. There's the gatefold, some lyrics, some photography there. And this is on the 4AD label, custom record labels, 2 LP set, pressed at MPO in France, which is nice. Obviously dug this, and it's going to be staying in my collection. All right, next up we got one of the more recent albums from Beach House. This is their album Thank Your Lucky Stars, put out the same year that Depression Cherry was put out as well. Of the two, this is more of a sort of down vibe kind of feel to it, but a good album from them. 2015 was the year that these were put out. Gatefold. Custom labels on this one. Pressed at RTI, as most stuff on Sub Pop is. It's Beach House, sort of a synth pop kind of modern synth poppy kind of group. Really good groups. One of the ones I just sort of buy anything they put out, and I enjoyed this. All right, next up, something totally different. This one is from Neil Diamond. We have the Taproot manuscript. Probably the only Neil Diamond I will have in my collection, but I really like this album a lot. The first side is very commercial. It's got a lot of his hits. You got Cracklin' Rose on here, Done Too Soon, He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. But the whole second side is the Taproot, what's called the Taproot manuscript. If you're a fan of Paul Simon's Graceland, you'll probably like this a lot. It has a very similar vibe to it. but done before Graceland was done. This was several years before Graceland. This is from 1970, so this is 10 years before Graceland, basically. The gatefold has nothing in it, but it does come with a booklet. Get it out of here. So this has a nice booklet, lyrics and liner notes and stuff like that. Very, very nicely done. At this point, Neil Diamond could do pretty much whatever he wanted to. And it's on the Uni label. So yeah, Neil Diamond, Taproot manuscript. If you haven't listened to Neil Diamond before, you haven't tried one of his albums before, I recommend giving this one a try, and don't just stop on side 1. If you just want to skip to side 2 and just listen to side 2, that's fine. I'd say this is definitely one that it's worth owning. It's one you find really cheap, really common, but it's a Neil Diamond worth owning, and I like this. So this is absolutely staying in my collection. All right, next up we have the one from the modern electronic composer Max Richter. This is his variations on Vivaldi's Four Seasons, recomposed by Max Richter. Really, really cool. As I said, electronic sort of versions of the Four Seasons. Really, really nice release here on Deutsche Grammophon. Nice gatefold, and then the front cover has sort of makes a pattern with the die cut there. Inner sleeve has these colors on it, and on Deutsche Grammophon, as I said, 2 LP set. Oh yeah, just a really nice sort of reworking of Vivaldi's Four Seasons, which is one of my favorite pieces of music. Classical music anyway. I like Max Richter, so yeah, put the two together and it's just awesomeness. And then one disc is the whole piece of Four Seasons done, and then the second disc has some electronic soundscapes that he made that are sort of fit in with the Four Seasons. And then he did some more modern sort of reworkings of some of the pieces of the Four Seasons. An awesome, awesome album. And yeah, definitely recommend that one if you're into ambient electronic music or classical or both. This kind of brings both together and does it very, very well. If you're into those things, you'll probably know about Max Richter, and you probably already know about this. So not telling you anything you don't already know, but definitely recommended if you haven't. Next up is the soul singer Leon Bridges with his album Coming Home. Awesome, awesome soul singer. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this album. Again, very, very good, very soulful. Just has a great voice. Nice inner sleeve here. Lyrics or liner notes and some photos on it. And this was an Amazon exclusive, I believe, on red vinyl, and they sort of recreated the Columbia 6i, but made it a black and white kind of thing. Pressed at MPO, I believe. Really nice pressing, really cool album. If you're into soul music, definitely check this one out if you haven't already for some reason. I think it was a pretty popular album, so I'm sure most people have checked it out at this point that would be interested, but if soul is not necessarily your thing, but you're looking to pick something up, I can definitely recommend picking this one up from Leon Bridges. Good, really good. All right, next up I have an album from the Late Night Tales series, and this is the Late Night Tales series with Nils Frahm, another sort of modern electronic ambient composer. One I really, really love. So I sort of misspoke when I originally presented this album in my New Vinyl Find series. I said this was songs remixed by Nils Frahm, and that's not necessarily what it is. It's more of the artist playing DJ. He does have a track on here that he does a remix of, but otherwise these are sort of tracks that Nils Frahm picked to put on the album that are sort of inspire him. So you got a lot of different artists on here, from Colin Stetson, Penguin Cafe Orchestra, Nina Simone, Fortet, Boards of Canada, a bunch of other artists that are just completely out there that you might not know about. So this is a cool way to sort of find an artist you love, and then sort of find the stuff that they love. So, you know, if it's an artist you love, you're very likely to like the things that they like, things that inspire them. So this is a really cool series, and this is the Nils Frahm Late Night Tales series. And this one just came with a print of the cover art. Sort of weird horn thing. And it's on black vinyl pressed at MPO 2LP set. So yeah, Late Night Tales, Nils Frahm. I'm a Nils Frahm fan, and I enjoyed this, and I knew some of the stuff on here and some of the stuff I didn't know, so it was an enjoyable listen for me. So yeah, definitely going to be keeping this in the collection. And last but not least, we're back to some Deutsche Grammophon here. We have some Bach organ music played by Helmut Walke on the organ of the Church of St. Lawrence in Netherlands. So yeah, just some really nicely played and recorded big church organ type music, Bach music. Definitely something I enjoy, and it sounds great on vinyl. So I definitely pick these up when I can find them. Enjoyed listening to this one. Older Deutsche Grammophon label, which is nice. So that does it for this episode of the Vinyl Survivor. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave me any questions or comments you have down below. If you aren't already, please subscribe. Then you will be kept up to date with future episodes of the Vinyl Survivor series and other vinyl videos I make. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, great night, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.